Hello, this is a Feurich 133 centimeters tall upright piano, brand new and just come into stock. Just assessing it to see if there's anything you might be able to do to refine it even further. It's an extremely refined piano, and we'll have a look at it again in a second. I want to try and compare it with this Steinway upright piano Model K. The same kind of height, I think it's 131 centimeters tall, and this is fully restored. Now the Steinway has been one that we've fully restored ourselves. A huge amount of work. I think certainly over 200, possibly nearer 300 hours work on this piano. It's been French polished. Let's take a look at that first. This is a traditional French polish finished off by with wax to make it give an antique wax look. So we've done it as well as we possibly can. You can see the casework here is a beautiful mahogany case and I think very tasteful veneer on it, and is obviously pretty near perfect, if not perfect, throughout. So it's a traditional style piano, 1927, and we've had a new action fitted. We actually had Steinways come over to help us with that because it's quite complicated trying to fit a new action. Now the casework on the Feurich is of course a modern typical black polyester finish. This is the chrome style one, by the way. There's chrome or brass. We do have a brass one coming in soon. It wasn't quite prepared for us apparently, so we had two 122s, which are shorter pianos, and this chrome one come in today. The top range Feurich upright pianos is 133, has this light fitted, LED light. I don't think you'll be able to see much because it's very light today anyway, and we've got skylight shining down, but you might be able to see it flickering a bit there. That's very useful if you're in a room and you want to be discreet with the lighting. Now what we're really concerned about is the touch and the tone, and this is 50 grams weight. It's just going down nicely. It's probably slightly less than 50, 49 I think. If I took the 2 off on here, I think it doesn't quite go down, so so it's 49 grams. So I make it 48 to 50 grams, very evenly weighted. That's as close as really you would get on a new piano. You don't normally get closer than that to. There we are. That's just about to go down with 50 grams. Encourage it a bit, tapping on the bottom. So that's good. And I think it's consistent all the way down. It's slightly heavier in the bass, so it should be. Let's have a look down here. So slightly heavier in the bass and slightly lighter in the top treble. This very refined piano, obviously. There we are, that's 48 I think, slightly 47 possibly, so say 47 to 50. Now Steinway is much lighter, which is ideal if you're an occasional player. This is 40 grams, so it's quite light, and a lot of folks do request a lighter touch, so that's something we can certainly do. We can make this one heavier too, but I think the Steinway, as it's set up, is ideal for occasional players who don't really want to have to work incredibly hard. You don't play often enough perhaps, or just want to enjoy the piano and be very fluid with this kind of touch and not so much effort really. So this is all 40 grams I'm trying these out on, so they could even be slightly less than 40, some of them. That one is slightly less I think, so 40 to 44 grams. So it's a light touch weight. Now Steinway has a celeste or practice pedal. Very useful if you're playing lots of scales and you don't want to disturb people, or maybe you've got problems with neighbours because you make too much noise through the wall. Then that certainly makes practice, and you can play at the same strength and get a much quieter sound. It may be possible to fit a celeste on the Steinway. Sometimes it's not so easy to do. We find that fitting it on, the stays get in the way. By the way, this is a brand new action. We'll look at this first before we move on. This was originally what we call a H flange. It has a different type of flange where the damper and the hammer are on the same flange. We have got a video showing that, so I can't show that now, I'm sorry about that. But this is a brand new Renner action. I said Steinway earlier. Well, Steinway and Renner have merged now, but this was before they merged. In fact, the project we took on here in March 2018, so it's been a very long project. It's also stood for a while, obviously, while we had to ask Renner to come over because there were certainly complications of fitting the action. And in fact, they put this sticker on, which they're very unusual, that dampers must be lifted off the strings prior to removing and refitting the action. Damage will occur if this is not followed. We haven't had this before, so it's a new experience for us. But the dampers, obviously, you lift them off. No problem, really. You could lift them off and then pull the action out. But that's apparently important to follow. Otherwise, you could damage the action. So, but this is brand new Renner action, which is exactly the same as fitted in brand new Steinways. So it's benefiting from that. Let's listen to the tone. Typical. I don't know how to describe the tone of this. Just full. Going right across the soundboard, beautiful soundboard. These are Renner hammers. Obviously, Renner Steinway hammers are the best. Breakpoint's reasonable. It's not perfect, but very good. And the bass is very lush. Let's compare that with the Feurich. So it's a stronger bass. Listen to those two notes and compare them. And the Steinway. There's a bit of voicing around that area. We've done some voicing already. Well, I've done obviously a lot of voicing. Just recently did a bit more. Now these are new hammers as well. I voiced them quite a bit today, it's just come in. Just to refine them a bit, and still we'll be voicing them until the piano goes, I expect it. Just trying to discern between them. That one's probably a bit brighter. If you play the two together like that, and that one's a bit brighter too. So it's just mellowing them a bit. Obviously, if you mellow them at the tips here, then you can bring it back with sandpaper if you find you've done it too much. So gentle mellowing here, and then perhaps a bit deeper here once you're convinced as to what kind of tone you want. So a lot of work in fine voicing. So that's an assessment of Feurich 133 upright piano that's just come in, and trying to compare it with a Steinway, very, very different piano, but the same sort of height. And this Feurich's best upright piano. A lot of musicians buy this piano. It just has an excellent touch for study and for general playing, really. Plenty of power and also plenty of subtlety. Just a little bit of voicing that we're doing onto it. It has German hammers, by the way, this top range Feurich. Let's have a listen to the Steinway to compare the tone. And this is the Steinway. This is the piano that's been a huge number of hours fully restoring a new action in, which is a lot of work to do. Now, I think for tone, this is, and obviously appearance, it's a piano that you choose, perhaps if you want an occasional piano, a piano to play occasionally. Beautiful, silky tone. Now the action is very light, so as I say, it's for occasional playing is ideal. But if you want a serious study, not so ideal. Now let's go back to the Feurich again. It's a very, very impressive bass. I think in terms of touch, this is as good as you can get any piano. I've actually compared it with a modern Steinway, new Steinway, and honestly it's touch-wise is as superb as that. I'm not sure if it was as long-lasting as a modern Steinway made in West Germany, because basically the action is made in China, although Feurich have a lot of control over that, visiting the factory and also the hammers themselves as well. They're German hammers. They are fitted in the Chinese factory, but supplied from German German source. Now, if you would like to buy any piano from us, I've been mentioning this recently, and there's an increasing number of people who are buying without coming to see the piano. Well, obviously this is a new Feurich, and I can say it's as good as any 133. We sell a lot of these to musicians, their preferred choice. And if you want to buy without seeing, then obviously we are doing the best we can to make it as perfect as we possibly can. And if you do find you don't like the piano, then for any reason you can return it to us, and obviously you have to pay transport, but unless there was something wrong with the piano, of course. The 5-year guarantee on the piano. That's manufacturer's and our guarantee. So I hope that's been helpful to compare this piano with the Steinway, which has been, I say, it's a labour of love. We've done a huge amount of work to that piano, and cosmetically very beautiful. Now, of course, we can repeat the Feurich. We can do another one. We sell many of these. I'm not sure, about 4 or 5 a year, compared to the 122, which is a smaller one. We sell a lot less, but we do sell to musicians particularly decide to choose this piano. And I think as a musician, I would also choose this piano. I've actually got a grand piano at home. I'm very fortunate to have space for it. Thank you very much for listening.